Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. And if you're a true General Hospital fan, be sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Now let's get started with today's video. According to General Hospital, GH, teasers, Harrison Chase, Josh Swickard, will face a difficult decision because Brook Lynn Quartermain, Amanda Seton, has wreaked havoc. How will Chase react now that Brook Lynn has admitted to framing Willow Kane, Caitlin McMullen? Chase is clearly furious that Brook Lynn is targeting Willow, especially after she assisted with Phoebe's, Luna and Lucia Creighton adoption. Chase is upset because he feels Michael Corinthos, Rory Gibson, framed Willow for shooting Drew Kane, Cameron Matheson, and Brook Lynn is causing Willow further problems. Fans of General Hospital realize Willow is genuinely responsible for Drew's attempted murder. Willow is also crossing important lines with Brook Lynn's spouse. That's why it's difficult to feel sorry for Willow given the circumstances. Brook Lynn was wrong to frame Willow, but she had previously escaped justice for a number of crimes, including Drew's shooting, the entire Locked-In issue, and Daisy Gilmore's, Brendan and Evelyn Beamford, stalker drama. Willow's reputation deserves to suffer in some way, but Chase doesn't view it that way because he holds her in high regard. Brook Lynn believes Chase prioritizes protecting Willow above anything else. Chase, on the other hand, may prove Brook Lynn incorrect in the July 13th episode when he appears to respond to her acts in an unexpected way. Brook Lynn may be concerned that Chase will turn her in for the frame-up, but he cannot do so. It might be the final straw that gets Chase dismissed from the PD and results in charges for Brook Lynn, so Chase will not want to jeopardize their marriage or the adoption that is already in progress. Chase appears to be focusing on his relationship with Brook Lynn and their Phoebe family plans in order to demonstrate what is most important to him. Summer preview spoilers imply that Chase will set some boundaries with Willow. Brook Lynn's willingness to go to such lengths to interfere with Chase and Willow's relationship speaks volumes about her fears. Chase will recognize that this is necessary for the sake of his marriage, so he will distance himself from Willow and demonstrate his ability to be the devoted husband that Brook Lynn deserves. Of course, Brook Lynn should have admitted to being the motorist who fled the crash site. That secret will certainly emerge sooner or later, and Chase may be unhappy that she hid something else from him in the future. Even so, Willow is concealing many bigger offenses that Chase may eventually learn about, so Brook Lynn's actions will not appear as horrible in comparison. According to General Hospital spoilers, Chase is still in for some unpleasant surprises, so keep an eye out for any other shocking developments. General Hospital spoilers, Chase's shocking reaction to Brook Lynn's Willow setup and what husband does next. The air at the Quartermain mansion was heavier than normal that steamy July evening in Port Charles. Brook Lynn Quartermain walked through the living room, her high shoes clicking on the glossy floor like a ticking time bomb. She had done what she believed was necessary to protect her family, marriage, and the fragile new life they were creating with little Phoebe. Framing Willow Tate for the hidden run that injured Curtis and Jordan appeared to be the ideal answer. It kept Willow away from Chase, concealed Brook Lynn's true role in the disaster, and, with Lucy Coe's hesitant assistance, presented Willow as the evil she saw her to be. But houses of cards built on lies had a tendency to collapse in Port Charles, and Brook Lynn could feel the first gusts of wind. Chase had been quiet all day. Too quiet. He'd returned home from questioning Lucy at the Metro Court pool, his detective instincts running at full throttle. Lucy's admission to being at the Quartermain residence the night of the accident, along with the transfer of deception shares, established a seed of mistrust that developed into full-fledged suspicion. Brook Lynn observed him from across the room, where he sat on the couch, staring at his hands. The guy she loved, the noble cop who had formerly worn his badge with pride, appeared devastated. "Chase," she began, her tone softer than she wanted. "Whatever you're thinking, we can discuss it. I did it for us. For Phoebe. Willow has been circling you since she got out of the debacle with Michael and Drew. She's toxic." He looked up slowly, his normally warm and trusting eyes now frigid with incredulity. "You framed her, Brook Lynn. You and Lucy. You paid her off with the shares Tracy provided you. You allow the police to pursue a congresswoman for a crime you know she did not commit. What the hell were you thinking?" The words landed like punches. Brook Lynn stopped pacing, her face flushed. "I was thinking of our family. You've spent all this time with her, swimming together, remembering, and she's offered you a job as chief of staff. Michael is putting you two together for his own sick custody game, and you are too blind to notice it. I had to do something before she ruined us. Chase rose up, casting a long shadow. The horror on his face was fresh and unvarnished. This was the man who valued truth above all else, and he had forgiven Brook Lynn's previous deceptions because he believed in redemption. But this was betrayal on another level. You don't get to choose who I talk to or aid. Willow has gone through hell, losing Wiley, the affair, Drew's illness, and political attacks. She needed a friend. Instead of believing me, you turned into the very thing you accuse her of being. Brook Lynn fought back tears. I warned her that if she breathed on you again, I will destroy her. And I intended it. But it wasn't all about jealousy. I was keeping us safe from the accident. If they dug too deep, her voice trailed off. Chase's look changed from one of rage to one of deep disappointment, cutting like a dagger. Were you the other driver? Or, at least involved? Instead of coming to me, you pinned it to Willow. Do you have any clue how this affects my job and our reputation? I've been looking into this, hoping to clear her name, since I believe in justice. Now I find out my own wife planned it. The argument heated up immediately. Voices rose, and accusations flew. Brook Lynn defended every step, including her talk with Lucy at Bobby's, the setup to make Willow appear guilty, and how it conveniently diverted suspicion away from the Quartermaines. Chase listened, but his comments became shorter and more clipped. He wasn't roaring back with the same fervor. Instead, a frightening stillness descended upon him. I need time to process this, he finally remarked, reaching for his jacket. Don't follow me. He stormed out into the darkness, leaving Brook Lynn alone to deal with the consequences of her decisions. Tracy, who had overheard portions of the altercation in the corridor, intervened moments later. I told you that the house of cards would fall, the elder Quartermaine stated solemnly. You went to Lucy rather than family. Now look where it's gotten you. Willow Tate sat in her living room at the Kane house, ignorant of the impending storm. She had been fielding calls from her lawyer about the accumulating evidence against her, the GPS data and the witness statements Lucy had made. It all seemed strange. She had offered Chase the chief of staff position sincerely, wanting to assist him following his demotion and support his expanding family with Brook Lynn. Their swim at the boathouse had been purely nostalgic, a momentary respite from the commotion. But now, with Drew still recovering and her own secrets weighing heavily, the delicate situation with Sidwell and the paralytic, Willow felt trapped. Chase finds himself driving aimlessly before arriving at the Kane residence. He wasn't sure why at first, perhaps a habit or a need for someone who wouldn't condemn him in the same way his wife had. Willow opened the door, astonished but concerned about his untidy appearance. Chase, what happened? He went inside, the words pouring forth. He told her everything, Brook Lynn's confession, the framing, the shares, and the cover-up around the accident. Willow's eyes widened in real shock. What did she do? Chase, I have no idea. I thought Michael was behind some of the pressure, but this... They sat on the same couch, where they had previously shared sensitive moments. Chase's disbelief transformed into a combination of anguish and insight. I defended you, because I thought you were innocent. Turns out I was correct, but the person I trusted the most was the one who set you up. How do I get back from that? Willow laid a delicate hand on his arm, her touch familiar but rich with history. You don't need to figure everything out tonight. I'm here. Whatever you need, a friend, someone who understands what it's like to have your life turned upside down. Their chat lasted late into the night. Chase vented his feelings about the marriage, the pressures of fatherhood with Phoebe, and how Brook Lynn's plots always seemed to come back to haunt him. Willow listened without interrupting, giving her own regrets about their past, the affair with Michael that had wrecked their marriage, and her confused feelings for Drew. There was evident chemistry between them, but Chase pulled back. Even when he was heartbroken, he remained a man of principle. The next morning, the fallout swept across Port Charles like wildfire. News of Chase confronting Lucy had spread, and murmurs of Brook Lynn's participation reached Tracy and even Michael, who saw opportunity in the confusion. Michael, ever the schemer, had been pushing the Willow Chase story for custody power, and Brook Lynn's error had given him more ammunition. Chase returned home momentarily to collect some items. Brook Lynn attempted to apologize and explain how fear had pushed her, fear of losing him to Willow again, fear of the accident exposing her. "Chase, I love you. We have a daughter. Don't throw this away because of one mistake." Chase's retort was calculated and devastating. One mistake? This was not a mistake, Brook Lynn. This was calculated. You damaged trust, not only in me, but also in the law that I vowed to preserve. I need some room. I'm now staying at the boathouse. We'll figure out co-parenting for Phoebe, but I can't pretend everything's fine. He walked out with a suitcase, his wedding ring still on, but his heart heavy. The stunning thing wasn't the finding, but how swiftly Chase drew a line. The man who had fought for their relationship over numerous challenges now preferred integrity over reconciliation. Chase spent the next few days working tirelessly to officially clear Willow's name. He cooperated with police, offering context without totally incriminating Brook Lynn, though the truth was getting closer. Willow, thankful and drawn to his unwavering support, relied on him more. Their conversations at the boathouse and her workplace exuded a new intimacy. She guided him through the emotional debris, reminding him of who he was before the Quartermain drama engulfed him. Meanwhile, Brook Lynn had to face the consequences. Tracy's disappointment was evident, so Lucy removed herself to safeguard her own interests. Michael quietly fanned the flames by telling Chase how Brook Lynn had always been a wild card. The pressure increased as custody negotiations for their adopted child approached, and Brook Lynn's remorse over the disaster threatened to erupt entirely. In quiet moments, Chase thought about his wife. He adored Brook Lynn, the passion, singing, and fire she exuded. But her acts had weakened the foundation. What husband is next became a haunting question for the town. Would he seek a separation? Seek counseling? Or, as some believed, find peace in Willow's arms, completing Michael's twisted plan? Chase and Willow met by the river one evening as the sun was setting over Port Charles. "I don't know what comes next," he said, "but I know I can't just ignore what she did. Justice is important." Willow smiled softly, caressing his fingers. "You matter, as a friend who has also been through the ringer. Take one day at a time. Chase, you have always been my rock. Maybe now I can be yours." The tension between them flared, but Chase backed away, ever the honorable one. But the seed was planted. Back at the mansion, Brook Lynn received a call from her lawyer regarding probable charges related to the fraudulent statements. Panic set in. She contacted Chase, but his response was brief. "We'll talk through lawyers for now." The drama played out in typical Port Charles fashion, with clashes at Metro Court, whispered alliances at General Hospital, and late-night confessions. Nina encouraged Willow not to rekindle anything with Chase for fear of heartbreak, while Michael planned his next move to take advantage of the rift. Tracy addressed Brook Lynn once more, pleading with her to be completely honest before the family name was destroyed. Chase's surprising response, choosing reality above blind loyalty, spread through relationships over the course of several weeks. Despite their separation, he spent more time with Phoebe, demonstrating his commitment as a father. Co-parenting with Brook Lynn was cordial but tense, with awkward handoffs and unresolved pain. Brook Lynn plunged herself into deception in an attempt to reclaim control, but the loss of Chase's trust left her disoriented. Willow's personal secrets, her encounters with Drew's illness, and external threats added dimensions. Chase's inquiry unexpectedly ran into them, causing her to tread carefully. Their friendship evolved into something more ambiguous, with stolen looks and supportive hugs that drew stares throughout town. Chase sat across from Brook Lynn for a key conversation at Kelly's, which seemed like a make-or-break moment. "I'm not saying it's over forever," he said calmly, "but I need to see actual change. No more scams. No more secrets. And right now, I can't live in that house pretending." Brook Lynn agreed, her tears streaming freely. "I will fight for us. For Phoebe. I was afraid, Chase. I'm scared of losing you to her again." He groaned. Willow is not the enemy. Your fear made her one. I have to live with what I know now. As the town gossiped, the husband prioritized healing, therapy sessions offered by friends, focusing on his job recovery, and creating space for clarity. Rumors of a Chase-Willow romance circulated, encouraged by Michael's leaks, but Chase resisted hurrying. He was a man rebuilding after betrayal, one cautious step at a time. Port Charles never slept, nor did its scandals. Brook Lynn's plan had failed spectacularly, driving Chase toward the independence she feared. The burning question was whether it would result in reconciliation, divorce, or a new chapter with Willow. For the time being, Chase walked a solitary path, his surprising stand against his wife's lie shaping the next chapter of his life in the unpredictable world of General Hospital. The tension in Port Charles had reached a breaking point, and Harrison Chase felt it the most. For days, whispers circulated regarding Brook Lynn's involvement in a Willow targeting plot. What began as quiet suspicions quickly developed into undeniable truths, leaving Chase profoundly surprised. Brook Lynn had always been passionately protective of the people she loved, and sometimes willing to cross borders to do what she thought was right. But this time, something was different. Her actions had created a risky situation that jeopardized multiple relationships and could cause irreversible harm. Chase first reluctant to believe the rumors. He defended his wife at every point, arguing that there was a mistake. Brook Lynn had made mistakes before, but he couldn't see her deliberately setting Willow up. The notion appeared impossible. However, the truth has a way of coming out in Port Charles. One evening, Chase approached Brook Lynn in their living room. The mood was tight, and stillness hung heavy between them. He examined her face carefully, looking for any indication that the accusations were false. "Tell me this isn't true," Chase asked quietly. Brook Lynn hesitated. That hesitation was all the response he needed. His expression shifted immediately. His eyes shifted from incredulity to hurt, then rage. "You actually did it?" he inquired, his voice cracking. "You set Willow up?" Brook Lynn attempted to explain. She argued that her motives had been misinterpreted and that she was only attempting to protect those she cared about. She feared Willow's recent decisions were causing havoc and that someone needed to step in before things got worse. Chase, however, was not listening. For him, the issue was more than just what Brook Lynn had done. It was a deception. It was the fact that she had concealed such an important secret from him while allowing him to publicly defend her. "You lied to me," Chase replied. "You let me stand there and protect you when you knew exactly what you had done." Brook Lynn's eyes welled up with tears. "I didn't want to hurt you, but you did." The words cut her like a dagger. For a long time, neither of them talked. Chase has spent years attempting to rebuild his life after experiencing heartbreak and betrayal. Trust was everything to him. It was the foundation of his marriage, and it was starting to break. Brook Lynn approached, urgently trying to make him understand. "I thought I was doing the right thing." "No," Chase said firmly. "You thought you knew what was best for everyone else." The conversation immediately heated up. Brook Lynn stated that her acts stemmed from love and care. Chase contended that influencing circumstances behind people's backs never went well. As emotions heightened, terrible realities revealed. Chase acknowledged that he was beginning to wonder if he really knew the woman he married. Brook Lynn, on the other hand, accused him of passing judgment on her unfairly and failing to recognize the complexities of the case. The confrontation had left both of them emotionally weary. News of the battle quickly circulated across Port Charles. Willow was taken aback when she discovered that Chase and Brook Lynn were experiencing major marital troubles as a result of the arrangement. Despite having every reason to be upset, she couldn't help but feel guilty. Willow didn't want to trigger another family problem. Meanwhile, Michael was outraged. He believed Brook Lynn's conduct had exceeded a boundary and demanded consequences. He warned Chase that excusing such behavior too lightly could lead to even more serious difficulties in the future. Others had varying reactions. Some sympathized with Brook Lynn, seeing she had behaved out of desperation and anxiety. Others believed she had twisted circumstances in an awful manner. Chase struggled internally during the entire experience. A part of him still loved his wife dearly. He recalled all of the times they had shared, the promises they had made, and the goals they still planned to achieve together. However, a part of him could not ignore the betrayal. Chase grew more distant with time. He poured himself into his career, spending long hours away from home. Every discussion with Brook Lynn felt tight and unpleasant. The emotional difference between them grew wider. Brook Lynn noticed the shift right away. She attempted multiple times to heal the damage, apologizing and confessing her mistakes. She pledged to never conceal such secrets from him again.